Welcome to the show. You're on No Rest with Noah John.
And the show's over.
It's already over.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it should be, maybe. We struggled so much to get anywhere on it. How are you tonight?
I'm alright.
Yeah. Just alright?
Well, I'm not Noah John, I'm the Grim Reaper. Because... Why?
Why is that?
Because it's the episode of death.
Wow.
This is the episode of death.
There's been a lot of death this year, though, hasn't there?
Well, there's always... Well,
it's nothing... that's right. It's always death.
But if you're... we're going to do a lot of stories about death. And also, if you're listening to this show, unless you forward our link to someone else, you're going to die tonight.
Right now.
So if you... No, after the show. So if you want to live, send this like a chain letter to 25 people that you know. And there better be 50% of them better be minorities. Otherwise, we will cancel you immediately.
Why minorities? They're seen such in favour nowadays. You know, why can't we just talk about majorities?
No, because
everybody's equal.
As somebody that recently said to me, they made a very good point. When someone says, "Well, all lives matter,"
all right,
and the proper response to that is, of course they do. However, certain lives have not mattered much or equal up until this point.
Well, they probably matter a lot within their circle, the same as everybody else's circle. You know, like within your family, for example. You know, if you work really fucking hard, you can get somewhere, right?
No. Did you ever read Malcolm Gladwell's book? His first one. What the fuck? I read all of them.
But you're
not the
librarian.
Not the tipping point. What the hell was it called?
I don't know.
It's basically the book's basically about the fact that outliers. The book's basically about the fact that you can work as hard as you want in the world, and unless certain things break your way or just dumb luck, it won't work for you.
That's it. Yeah. Dumb luck.
Dumb luck
And a lot of work. But you're not guaranteed.
Both.
You're not guaranteed, as you say, working hard's going to get you anywhere.
No.
Maybe
hell no.
You know, but so that's not the greatest thing in life, is it? Probably the greatest thing you could achieve in life is being, you know, having love and being loved and
I mean, that's
having children.
Nice, I mean, I guess that's what the Hallmark cards say. I know plenty of people with kids are miserable.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not you.
Right, okay. Well, let's get over there. Yep. So, Bali. We're in Bali. This week we're in Bali.
In Bali?
I was in Ubud, which is a famous part of Bali. Well, near Ubud. I didn't actually go into Ubud, but very near on the way up.
Your probation has not expired yet?
Yeah, I cannot.
You're not allowed within 1,000 feet of that one person?
Yeah, that Ubud person. No, Ubud's a beautiful place. And I was in this little area just south of Ubud, and I hadn't spent much time in that area before, but a good friend of mine, lives there, and he's built a beautiful house on the river. Dog's been a pain, but let's just forget him. I'll go out there in a minute and sort him out. Great times. Had a few drinks, you know.
Well, you posted something where there was like traffic.
Oh, that was on the way back.
And then you were like, "Hello, old friend."
Yeah, here we are.
So it's a good thing, though, right? Or no?
We've got well, that's the way Bali operates, isn't it? You know, they had the chance to actually build some more roads or something, or fix up some of the infrastructure at least over this last 5 months. But
I mean, if you have money,
well, apparently somebody's been working pretty hard and taking a lot of tax over the years, and they're not giving back much to the local people right now. So where's the money? It's not being spent on infrastructure.
Jeff Bezos has it.
And what's
Jeff Bezos? He owns Amazon.
All right.
He's like the only guy who's like 60 and like doing steroids. Well, besides Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen a picture of Jeff Bezos?
Why is he doing steroids?
You know, he's jacked and he's like 60. And anyway, yeah, he has all the money. I heard.
Yeah, he makes billions on the stock market there every week or something. Doesn't he? So good for him. He should be spending a lot more money.
Not good for him. He doesn't pay any federal income tax in America. Not 1 cent. Amazon pays not 1 cent of federal income tax.
Why is that?
And meanwhile, I don't know, because he's a corporate lobbyist, and the Congress is a tool of the corporatocracy.
People, isn't it?
Jeff Bezos' plan was basically oh, you mean I can just use the post office to send as much stuff as I want? So he's basically benefiting off of like an American a public institution, and he gives nothing back.
Well, I guess they only employ robots too, right?
Eventually. Yeah.
But anyway, there was a guy picked up by the police recently.
Oh, here.
We forgot to talk about him last week.
There was a gentleman, Marcus Beam is his name, and he was arrested on July 24th. He was in Bali because he had ran away from America. Another American con man, in a great tradition of con men, Steve Cohn, every Wall Street bank, Bernie Madoff, and he had this investment firm. Everyone has an investment firm. The names are so great. Chase Private Equity, like not Chase Bank, but just like Chase, like just be quiet. And then he changed it to New World Capital. Anyway, he had like $500,000 dollars of investment that he was basically just not investing. It was like Bernie Madoff, just like a complete Ponzi scheme. And so he took that money and just lived. And he was being investigated by the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, and he came to Bali to run away because Indonesia does not have an extradition treaty with America, and he entered Bali on a fake passport, not like a fake, like one in like made fake, but a different person. And he's been in Bali living, and apparently, how's he making his money since he's been here?
How is he been making his money?
No, that's where you answer.
Oh, that's what I answer. Apparently making pornography.
How dare you say
pornographic movies.
This is a Catholic channel.
I love that stuff.
He was making pornographic movies to earn money, which I thought he stole $500,000. I don't really know why he didn't make more, but allegedly using local people.
What did he
but he's been arrested in Bali. He's been arrested in Bali.
But what's it? Maybe that's his forte in life. We were just
talking
about that
people.
before. No, making porno movies.
Well, his forte was being a fake investment banker and robbing people of their entire life savings.
So what happened to all that money?
Exactly.
He must love making porno movies.
That's one way to make a living. And he's arrested in Bandung. Oh, do we live in Bandung, Regency?
Bandung.
Yeah. So this is where we live.
That's,
here's right here. He come on out. Oh no, he's not here.
Behind the curtain.
When they arrested him, he had a passport, 5 mobile phones, 1 folding knife, 14 sex toys, and 13 electronic devices.
Jesus,
electronic.
That's quite.
I don't know what that means. Like
I
think he had 12 pagers and then like 1 Walkman. But yeah. So
were there any girls in the photos?
I didn't see the photos. I do see him being arraigned, properly read his charges, and he's surrounded by 3 dudes in hazmat suits, and he's totally coroned out. He's got the orange jail jumps, like Epstein style, with the face mask and the shield and a helmet and gloves. He's like, dude, I ripped off a ton of people and ruined their lives and ruined Christmas for a generation, but I am staying safe.
He's well dressed, and they've probably been cutting up the money since that point, and he's probably out already.
Right, exactly. We'll see how much money that he. We'll see how soon he gets out, and then we know how much money he's.
Yeah, well, last week was kind of exciting in Bali too because we opened up to domestic tourism. There was a buzz. There was definitely a buzz around on Friday. We were down the beach. It was also coincided with Idul Adha, which is a national holiday. And this year's national holiday, Idul Adha, turned into Idul Fitri, which is the biggest holiday of the year, which they couldn't do this year because of the pandemic. So there were people everywhere. Did you notice?
Yeah, I mean, I run. Well, I try to run. It's more like a limp jog. And there was a lot of people on Legian Beach. All Indonesian people.
Absolutely.
Thousands.
That's what it's all about.
Literally thousands. And they're sitting under tables and tents and eating and drinking.
Yeah, I went out on Friday night. Had a look around a few different places. It seemed to be pretty busy. Got way
what are you
too,
just like?
Too drunk.
You're just a surveyor. Like you just drive around.
That's my job.
Are you busy? Oh yeah, right. Okay. Well, maybe you should explain like what that means.
My job is. Well, I'm involved in nightlife, and I report on nightlife, and we have magazines and websites, and
so literally,
it's
like
all
it's
about
your
events.
job.
Well, it is literally my job. I make contact. I shake hands with the bosses.
You shake hands? It's coronavirus. You elbow touch.
From a distance. Yeah.
From a distance.
It's a term of phrase. Not exactly what I'm doing, but yeah, and mostly drinking. So it's kind of fun job, I must admit.
That sounds all right.
We're down at what was it? Back Room in Bataboulong.
Mm-hmm. That's a beach. That's nice. A cool place. That's a cool spot.
Bataboulong's in Canggu, if you didn't know. Mason restaurant out the front, Back Room at the back.
Freemason?
It could be. It could be like a front for the Freemasons, but it's not. It's a front for hedonism, basically. Good food, good wine, and great women. We went from there to Jungle.
Like literally the middle of the jungle, or a place called Jungle?
It's called Jungle.
I've seen it. I can't recall where I've seen that, though.
Yeah, it's had its moments. It's been popular, then unpopular. It happens to be popular again right now because it's an open air venue, and it was kind of ramajama. It's a hot spot for Russians, actually. Jungle.
Pass.
All right. You look a bit Russian.
I'm 22% Greek.
Okay.
No, German. Sorry. We just got our 23andMe, like my family. So, like, everything I was telling people for 36 years is completely wrong.
Okay.
But there's some Slav in there. Well, straight up Bosnia, what's up? But that's not Russian. But that's like they wanted
almost.
They wanted to enslave the Slavs. But yeah, it's like kind
of it's a Soviet bloc, wasn't it?
Right. Which we've broken. What was the point of that?
Because there are
I look Russian.
Jungle. Yeah, we love Russians.
You do.
Went to Shishi after this point. Yes. Anyway, it was busy. I was drunk and I was making a bit of a fool myself, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I had to get
tell
out
me
of
about that. You were like, I will do a handstand on one hand in the middle of this bar.
No,
damn you all.
I won't go into it. But up on the third floor of Shishi, anything. It's a kind of wild place.
I saw a taxi, a Gojek driver. They're like a motorbike delivery driver. I was having a coffee before he came here, and I saw him pick up food for whoever, and then he smelled the bag of food, put it right up to his nose, not wearing a mask.
Bugger.
I was like, dude, that's not in the handbook.
Protocols, man. We got to think about the protocols.
That's not in the gig economy handbook.
Righto. So, what else has been going on in your life this last weekend?
Nothing really.
I love that.
Sorry, I know nothing to add there. I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
I've been watching Game of Thrones.
All right.
I went to the beach. I went swimming, and that's it.
That's about it. So good for you. Where was I? I sent you something earlier about this organisation, which I'm totally unprepared for.
What organisation?
Organisation called a band called Dead, which
a band called Dead.
A band called Dead,
but it's not spelled Dead.
DEHD. So I think it's pronounced.
Oh, that's like super
Dead.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's like
Dahid.
Cool. Well, it's better Dead, right? I wondered what the name was, and then it dawned on me. Actually, when you told me about tonight's show, I thought,
that's good.
I thought Dead
episode of Death. If you haven't told your friends to listen to this show, you've only got a couple hours to live.
A couple of hours. You only got half an hour, right?
No, the show's not half an hour. Okay, so the reason we're calling it the episode Death. This is the stories that we hopefully will get to tonight. We've got an amazing story that you turned me on to that I've been just deep in research. Pan Am Flight 812, April 22nd, 1974, crashed in Bali. Everyone, unfortunately, passed away and died. And the story is pretty interesting, the background, what happened, and then there's actually a memorial to this horrible tragedy, not too far from anywhere in Bali, anywhere population center. And I went and visited Primary Source Direct Research, and we'll talk about that. We also have, finally, if we can get Belvedere on here, if he can stop spreading corona at the gym, we're going to talk about Gabriel Wortman, the man who committed the worst mass murder, mass shooting in Canadian history, just this past April, I believe, and it's been getting a lot of attention in Canada, but across the world it hasn't. And this story is insane. It's absolutely insane, and the story is tragic and crazy, and just had another development this past week. And then if we have time after that, we'll talk about the Prime Minister of Lesotho, which we were going to talk about last week, hiring his current mistress to murder his technically still his wife, but his ex-wife. And then we'll talk about the 25 most overrated bands of all time, which, you know, related to the episode of Death, I want to kill most of the bands on this list.
That's something to look forward to. Anyway, we're gonna have a few songs. We're gonna have a few songs from Death.
Okay. Well, there's a band called Death. There's a band called Death, which is not this band.
All right.
Just saying.
Well, these guys are from. Wait a minute. Let's check it up.
Death Valley, California. Am I right, folks?
No. Dead is a three-piece indie rock band from Chicago formed in 2015. The band consists of members Emily Kempf, female, vocals, bass guitar, Jason Baller, vocals, guitar, Eric McGrady, vocal, drums. I like three pieces. I've always had three-piece bands. They have a sort of energy to them, like it's a cut.
Who's the best three-piece band ever?
Oh,
I have my answer.
Jesus.
Jesus did not have a band. I don't.
Anyway, you tell me about yours.
Silverchair.
Right now, are they three-piece?
Well, when they tour, they're not. Nobody is really. There's a two-piece band, Local H. They were great.
Was it Green Day? Anyway.
Green Day's 3.
Cream
3.
I'll have to check that. I'll have to check the details. Anyway, I'm going to play a few songs tonight from their latest album called Flower of Devotion, which was just released in June, I believe. June, July. Let's check it out. This first one it's called Disappear. You're on No Rest with Noah John. Hope you're enjoying the show. And away we go. Yes, sir, we are back. No Rest. Noah John, DJ EsTeh. Hope you're enjoying the show as we always do.
We always do. I don't know about anybody else. I enjoy.
Do you ever get any comments?
Yeah, I do.
Besides Dave?
Sure I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
mostly for people telling me stop texting me.
Well, exactly.
No, I'm kidding.
They keep on beeping all night long. Anyway, that was Dead.
What's the name of this song? Flood. You can die in a flood.
Maybe that's what all the songs are about. Can you die with a letter?
Yes, Anthrax. Remember? After 9/11?
That's right.
The CIA did that. No, they did, really.
Definitely with Disappear. You could disappear dead.
Yeah, no, envelopes you could die. Alright, should we get to our first part of the death episode? Alright, so this is an incredible story that I've never heard of. I've never heard anybody in Bali talk about this. Pan Am Flight 812. This was on April 22nd, 1974. And this was a flight. This was back in the day when, there was long-haul flights, but they would stop at multiple places on the way.
Yeah.
So this flight originated in Hong Kong. And final destination was L.A. And stops in Denpasar, which was obviously the last stop, Fiji, Sydney, Australia, going down to Sydney, up to Honolulu, Hawaii, and then L.A. And the actual flight, the actual plane in this crash was in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, when they were delivering, chocolate. The Clipper Climax, if anybody remembers that. It was the actual flight, the actual plane, the Boeing 707. And the crazy thing, there's so many crazy things about this, but one of them was that it was the third crash in Pan Am fleet that year.
That year?
Yeah, that year. There had been another one in American Samoa, Pacific Island, and then French Polynesia, and then Bali. So, hey, do you want to say hi?
We got the special guest tonight.
What's up?
EsTeh Belvedere.
Good evening, guys.
All right.
Hey, bro. What's good? Guns out. Sun's out. So this crash kind of was a wake-up call to Pan Am because they had a culture problem, which, again, in that book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about this with Korean Air, where basically, Belvedere, if you read that book, just speak up, whatever. Just jump in anytime.
Yes.
You remember the part where they're talking about Korean Air and they had a bunch of crashes because in that culture you just could not say anything to an elder. somebody like older. Like even if the flight is just veering off course, you just couldn't do it. And there was an example in the book where the guy would say, like the first officer would say, like, "Man, looking cloudy out there," and that was like insane to say. That, in other words, the translation would be like, "This weather's crazy. You're not being safe. We're gonna die." So Pan Am had a similar situation. They called them sky gods. It was these pilots that had accumulated thousands of hours of flights, and they really just kind of couldn't be told what to do. And seems like in this situation, this is what happened. So this plane crashed. A couple different times reported on this. It looks like it was 12:26 Bali time, but I think Bali was in a different time zone back then. I think they changed it since, or like it was part of the same as Jakarta. I have 12:26. I have 10:26.
Well, 2 hours difference.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
say 11:26 midday. Is that,
so we'll go with the answer that's not correct. Definitely.
Midday, right? Is this?
No, this is night.
Nighttime.
Yeah, because that's part of it. It's very dark.
Oh, right.
107 casualties. Everybody died. 96 passengers and 11 crew members. 29 passengers were Japanese, 18 Indonesian, 16 Australian, 17 United States, Canada, India, West Germany at the time, Philippines, China, Sweden, Denmark.
That's a regular United Nations.
There you go. So it was the worst Pan Am crash at that time, which I believe the Lockerbie bombing overtook that in, what was that, 83, 85. So...
How many people died in that flight?
On this one?
On this one?
107.
107. Because I was thinking, it's kind of similar. Well, it's actually half the number of people that died in the Bali bomb, right? Which is also
55 or something?
Which is also
I don't know. I should know.
United Nations event. But anyway, I'm sure if that happened today, they'd all be screaming terrorism. But anyway,
well, it was terrorism, right? Wasn't it?
No,
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, this was straight pilot error.
Well, there's all sorts of ways of looking at that bomb as well. You know, there's different.
Oh, it's
different stories.
Enlighten us, because I'm pretty sure.
Well, the involvement. There's a bomb. There was going to Iraq at that same time.
Yeah.
You know, Iraq was voted on that just on the Friday, actually, just a couple
Iraq?
of days. On US going to Iraq.
Is that true?
Yeah, just
okay.
The Congress, they voted on Congress going
the
to
vote, not the actual invasion.
No, the vote.
The invasion was March 2003. When was the bombing? 2002 what?
October.
October.
So they'd already, you can look it on that.
Well, at least we gave ourselves 6 months to get ready for the worst fuck-up in American history war-wise, so that was, I guess, encouraging.
Yeah, well, they're organising. But the point was they got the rest of the world on the team at that point, on that weekend. Anyway.
They did not get the rest of the world on that.
Well, the rest of the United Willing or whatever.
Oh, the Coalition of the Willing. Remember Chappelle's show? He's like, Coalition of the Willing. Japan sending PlayStations. I think like Monrovia, like Andorra sent like a couple packs of gum. Like all I know is Tony Blair and that was
and it was England, US,
Australia
and Australia
did too. Yeah.
The usual baddies.
Yeah. So this back to the episode death. So this plane crashed into a dormant volcano 42.5 nautical miles.
Which hill?
So so there's a couple different ones. So I mean, it's the same one, but it has multiple different names. It's like northwest Bali. It's like kind of between Medewi, which is the far west coast, and then Lovina, the north coast. So it's like somewhere in between there.
Well, Mount Batu-Karu.
So no, not that's the second biggest one. It's a dormant volcano, Mesahi Mountain, also part of the Singa mountain range, and there was even another name which I'll get to later. But this is about 50 miles, 80 kilometers north of Denpasar, which is the capital city of Bali, where the airport is now, and also was back then. This was a different airport. It was near Batu.
Well, it was the same airport.
Oh, is it?
Well, this has never changed. No.
I didn't know.
Well, when I flew the first time here in 1980, and it was the same runway.
Okay, so same location
with improvements.
Yeah, it's somewhere up in there. So
Mount Merbuk.
This dormant volcano, it's very strange. There's so much not clear information because it was so the crash site was like inaccessible, basically. So this mountain was about 4,100 feet above sea level, 1.2 miles, and that's not really that high. And the airplane had hit it just 300 feet, like 0.09 kilometers to clear. Like if it had been 0.09 kilometers higher, it would have been fine. 300 feet, like it hit just the top. It just hit the top. Just clipped it, just enough.
Damn, they're trying to pull it up.
The Clipper Max, which you're supposed to push down and then come back up, because if you pull up, you're going to stall.
But if you're about to hit a mountain, I guess you're going to try and lift it up, not go down.
Knee-jerk reaction, pull up.
So this was about a 6 or 7 hour drive from Denpasar. So it's close geographically, but the winding roads and the elevation.
Imagine how the roads were in 1974 as well.
It was virtually inaccessible. The wreckage is still there, part of it. It's most likely overgrown right now, and the wreckage was found the next day by two villagers the Balinese villagers, like got there in like a couple hours, and they were just bringing down body parts, like torsos. There was no full victims. Only 43 of the victims' remains were ever found. Everything else incinerated or was just inaccessible from the crash, because they called off the search after like 2 days. They were just like, now these days you couldn't do that, but 1974 it was just like,
they're done. It's done. Black box?
Yep, that was found. So the Balinese started bringing it down. And back then, only 10% of the world was fingerprinted. 10% of the world. So it was kind of hard to identify people. Really, all they had was the flight manifest, and then corroboration from family members, like, hey, my person was on this flight or whatever.
Well, they must have had names and tickets or something.
Yeah, I mean that's really about it. They only found the remains of 43 people. So what's interesting, and we'll get to the reason why, but what was interesting, as I mentioned, there were so many Japanese people, 29. They were the Shinto religion, which I don't know much about, but they are always cremated. And then you had a significant amount of Catholics on that flight, and I'm Catholic, but I mean, I think they don't want to be, they can't be cremated, or they're not supposed to be cremated. So Bali ended up actually holding 2 funerals on Sonora Beach, one for the cremation and another for like the burial. I could not find where the bodies were buried, but it was like their remains were not sent home, you know.
But you went looking for the facts on this.
I went to the memorial. So it took the U.S. military, once it crashed, the U.S. military took 3 days to reach the site. There was 300 searchers. Some of the American government people from Java had come over, and then they hired like local villagers to help. And after like 2 or 3 days, because they just would drive up to Denpasar, hike into this area, they just called it off. But the Indonesian government, I mean, this is a good thing, I guess. They basically they just gave everybody death certificates, so people at home could get their life insurance or kind of just get their estates in order, when they really didn't have proof of the majority of the people on the flight. So there is a plaque near the beach in Sonora, just north of Sonora. And I went there, and it is just back off the beach near this really nice temple, actually. And it's nothing special. It's big granite with like gold writing and engravings, and it just said it had everybody's name from every country they're from. The air tragedy of 1974.
Wow.
So
who made that?
The governor of Bali at the time, his name was a one person name, like Indonesians have, like. I don't know. It was 74. It was the same year, I believe. So basically what happened was the pilot, they were coming from straight south from Hong Kong, and they were kind of following the, just straight down. And so there's a beacon in the airport. So you're just supposed to follow that signal, that light, through down and land. But the pilot, there's this thing called the, what's it called here? It was one of these things that gives them like their position, and for some reason it read wrong. So the guy turned. Well, there's supposed to be 2, left and the right, and I guess the one on the right read wrong for some reason. That was never really explained why. And he took the turn at 263 degrees when he was supposed to take it at 261, and so that put him in path for right to the volcano. And
wait a minute, they're coming from the north?
They're coming from
trying to land.
Yeah, but, they're kind of following the coast a little bit. Like, they're just over the west part of Bali. And then they're just supposed to turn a little bit down to Denpasar. And because they were in front of the mountain, the signal from the tower and the radar was not getting them because it was bouncing off the mountain and bouncing back. So it wasn't able to, like, hey, are you at 261? And plane crashed right into it. It broke apart in 7 pieces on impact. It disintegrated. The fuselage then just caught on fire, and everything was incinerated.
What was the date of this?
April 22nd, 1970.
So it kind of depends on which way the winds are blowing. If the trade winds have already arrived, it means you're flying in from you're coming in from the east to west if the trade winds are coming. If it's not yet trade winds, you have to come around Agung and then come or somehow in there. So you're not following around the island. You have to go around the mountains, right?
Yeah, they were east of Abang, east of Kintamani. And the only reason we know all this stuff is because it was recorded from the recovered voice recorder, which I don't know how they found it, but they did.
But he hit on the north side of the mountain? Or the south?
Well, no. The north.
So they're coming in and they just went straight into the mountain.
Well, he was coming down, following the west coast, turned left, and then right, and then boom, right into it. And the investigation found nothing wrong with the plane, nothing wrong with the weather, nothing wrong with the communication. That right hand turn made just 2 degrees early caused the electric finder aid to basically he was following the wrong thing. They're called the ADF, and it's supposed to tell the pilot kind of which direction, which degree line plane to stay on. And they were right behind the mountain. It crashed, and in May, Pan Am installed new cockpit warnings on all 140 flights in their entire fleet. And after that, they didn't have a crash for a while. The captain was a man named Donald Zink, American. He had the plane had 27,000 hours of service, which is not a lot for a plane. The plane was first commissioned in 1966, and it had gone through 9,123 landings. Not 9,123.
Alistair, do you know how many hours there are in a year?
I do not, off the top of my head.
Math time. Okay.
All right.
In a leap year?
Do you?
How many years is that?
What's a year?
27,000 hours.
That's a song, right? I would walk 27,000 hours. If I had to listen to that song,
I think it was 10,000. But
fuck, it's the worst song ever.
It is.
But yeah, so if you want to go up there and try to find it, you can still find some of the remains. But it was total pilot error, and at the very end, they're coming in, and the weather controls, towers talking to them, and then couldn't get a read, and it crashed. And it was basically Pan Am changed their culture after that. Basically, the superiority complex among these veterans is basically just saying everyone's equal in the cockpit. But yeah, I mean, plane crashes are fascinating to me. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Like Corona, we live with Corona now. We're probably gonna be living it forever. And it's just one of those things where now it's another safety hazard. And so are cars and planes. When those things happen, people are dying all the time. And it's well, that's just part of this new development that we have, and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, stay home if you don't like it. That's what you should be saying.
I like the fact that they canceled the investigation after 3 days, but the Balinese could get to the site in 12 hours. They were just boom, boom, boom.
But they still can't find Flight 370.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
They found pieces.
Bits and pieces up on East Africa or
something. Yeah.
Mozambique or something.
Yep, exactly.
It was fascinating.
After almost 2 years, I think. A year and a half or something, they found the pieces over there in Africa, so it takes quite a long time for these bits of airplane to go across the Indian Ocean. But this one is interesting. I wonder what Bali was like in 1974 when they pulled in here. It would have been a tin shack on the
70
airport.
People on the flight were going to depart in Bali. That was their final destination.
Wow.
So a lot of people were ready. Yeah, a lot of people were going on holiday. And then one of the people who died a man named Maurice Raymond. He was a corporate VP for food and beverage of Hilton. And in 2015, some of the employees from the Hilton here had like a ceremony at the place, and it's like kind of like an honoring thing. But just one of those things where it's crazy, and you don't really. I never heard about it till you happen to bring it up randomly.
Yeah, neither did I.
There we are. We're learning all the time.
Plane crashes are crazy. I think that's got to be the scariest way to die. I
still look up. Yeah, I still look up and think, how the hell do those things fly? And 200 odd people just file in, sit down, and they get to the other destination. I know it sounds very simple, but it still awes me every time I see one.
Well, I'm glad it does, because people should be like kind of like realizing like I'm in this aluminum tube just flying through the air at 500.
Let alone the guy flying it. He's like, "Don't worry, everybody, I got it.
We got it." Yeah, I remember taking a flight.
These people are heroes before they even take off, as far as I'm concerned.
The first time I flew to the UK was in 1973, right? And you get on this plane. I was in Singapore. You get on the plane, you're in the back seats. It's just like, man, this is. How long ago? 50 years ago or something? And just fly, man. Let's jump on there and just fly. We're just going. And you think back to the security standards of everything at that point. And, zero.
I mean, like...
as long as you can get there, it doesn't matter.
Propeller.
Propeller. Yeah. Well, this is a jet.
I remember flying from Rome to Naples. Or maybe vice versa on, I don't know if the airlines still exist, but Air Italia. Has anyone ever flown Air Italia?
Oh, that's the...
Alitalia, but I don't think Air... Yeah, Italia.
Alitalia. Yeah, flag carrier, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's... And this was 2006. Ridiculously good-looking airline staff, pilot... everyone's smoking on the plane, seats ripped, uniforms ripped, and I'm thinking to myself, ooh.
Oh, you'd like to get amongst that.
Was EasyJet around then? I don't think it was. I think the flight cost was as worthy of what I saw.
Right. That's funny, isn't it? The flight costs have not changed that much in all those years. I remember getting a flight when I was like 18 to Europe on my own, or with a friend of mine, and it cost $1,000 return. And it wasn't. You can still get flights from Australia to Europe for like $1,200, and this is 40 years later. It's incredible how it doesn't cost you $10,000.
Well, I mean, people trying to leave places right when Corona was shutting down. That's the price some people were paying that, right?
The real price.
Crazy.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what's going to happen to these airlines now. With the so-called reopening of the world, how's that going to pan out?
A friend of mine who was worked for British Airways for 20 years, and they sent him a link on his phone. He clicked on it, and it was, "Do you want to leave? Yes or no?" Yes. And it was just like, "Thank you for your input," and that was it. The site just went dead.
No payoff.
Thanks very much. Very small.
They didn't tell you. Yeah, you expected. I'll go yes, and I'll get $100,000.
Yeah. I think you expected probably a little bit more of a personal experience, but no, obviously not.
20 years for sure.
Yeah.
So he's working for AirAsia now, is he?
No, no. I think he's. You know him, Jerry. He's now officially left the airline business as of last night.
Oh, good for him. I thought he already left. They'll probably try to figure out how to get him out, but for the last 15 years.
Well, there's that question as well. Maybe not everybody got that link.
Exactly. We'll have to get him on the show and ask him.
But, I think we should. Anyway.
So what? How's Jakarta been this week? Anyway, has anything changed?
Governor Anise extended yet another 2 weeks.
All right. Lockdown.
There was a bit of a rise in cases, and a few have popped up in some sort of business district high rises.
All right.
It's kind of anyone who's going to the office at the moment is now kind of retracting back to home. I think Sequeeze Tower. I think one at WTC. So it's still around.
How about the restaurants and people going out? Is that still happening?
Yeah. I think I was cruising down Gunawarman on a Friday night, busy, cars parked all over the street. Restaurants are, picking up, I guess. Whether they're going on the half full, I doubt it. But again, I think people seem to be following protocol here, at least. You don't see too many people without a mask. In fact, none.
Even in the restaurants.
Walking in, but it's always they're not. They're not wearing it sitting at a table.
No.
They're eating through their ears.
Yes.
What do we got
Soup's
here? Anyway?
Very popular at the moment.
You want to play a song? Or you want to go into this next thing?
Oh, we could play a couple of more songs from.
It's up to you.
Our favourite band from today. They're called
That
Dead.
was a great track last one.
They're called Dead, which is very appropriate to this show. They're from Chicago. They've just released a new album. That album is called Flower of Devotion. And this song is called Letter. Oh, no rest. That's what we do. No resting. And
resting is what we don't do.
No rest. There's no time for rest. Over here in Bali, where everything's supposed to be casual and holiday-like, but I seem to be busier than ever, even with this pandemic going on.
You think so?
I am. I don't seem to make any money, but I'm very busy. You're back at work, right? Is that right?
Yeah, first day today.
Jeez. Okay. How did that go?
Great, actually. Online, but yeah.
Are you actually? Are there students?
No.
Are they going to be students?
I hope.
What's the plan?
The plan is get Denpasar out of an orange zone. That's the plan. That's the government directive. So
you're going to be doing the video classes?
Yeah. Like most of the world. It sucks. I mean, it's
except for Sweden.
Are they going back to school?
Well, they never stopped. Actually, the university, I think maybe the senior high school and university.
Most of the world.
Whoa.
Hey, get out of here.
I mean, it's
What's this?
I don't know. Should we get to this? We'll interrupt the death for a little bit of music.
Yep.
My brother sent me this. This is from a website called newarena.com. And it's just one of those like gossip, like BuzzFeed type websites. But they got here the top 25 most overrated bands of all time. So it's not scientific, but it's just like your opinion. So I don't know. To me, overrated means like a very popular band that I guess you just don't respect or you don't really understand why they're popular, right?
Wow.
All right, so we'll start.
It sounds okay.
So let's go. We'll start with 25.
Like a one-hit wonder, if you will.
Well, like not like you'll see from this list. Not even that. Just like bands that people love that like you're like how why. Number 25.
Let her rip.
Imagine Dragons. They suck. Imagine Dragons is like a band that like people who still think that rock is not dead point to as like, no, it's still cool. I don't know any of their songs.
Are they new?
I mean they're newish, but they suck. 24, Maroon 5.
Yeah,
I agree.
Ooh. Yeah,
I agree.
I've seen them live. I've seen them live. They're pretty.
From the letters.
They just suck. I mean, that one song, like that one recent one where like it's just Adam Levine and it's his face with like he's like got this beard. And he's just like, it's just, I don't even know the name of the song. It's always on at the gym, and it sucks.
Memories?
Yeah. How does it go?
Few bars.
Sing the melody.
Let's play it next.
Please, no. Okay, number 23, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Pretty tough.
Whoa.
That's pretty tough. I'd call them one of the classic, rock bands of all time.
I'm with you, DJ. I'm with you.
This guy calls it, he says they're that way because John Fogerty, quote, has a horrific screech of a voice.
Oh.
And
I guess that's amazing.
Their barely disguised anti-war politics seem to slip into nearly every song they play. I like them. I don't love them, but I like them.
It's kind of a drive.
Politics?
Yeah, I mean, they were like pretty much Vietnam and all that.
It's the 60s, right?
22, the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
Now, it's not popular.
How could they be into this?
No, because what they're saying is they're generally considered to be the second or first greatest band of all time. And he's saying do they deserve to be on there for the music they've produced? I guess. I mean, I like the Rolling Stones. I certainly don't think they're the best band I've ever heard, well, so I can understand.
Apparently, millions of people thought so. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know who this guy is.
I think his problem is like how much they're selling their concert tickets for and stuff, and they're like all over 70. Like it's not really.
Well, you wouldn't bother going and seeing them now unless it's some sort of nostalgic feel you're looking for.
They're not going to be playing at an RSL anytime soon,
right?
That's for sure.
This one is ridiculous. Red Hot Chili Peppers, number 21. Like, if you listen to all their radio singles, then I could understand why, because they're not that great. But if you listen to their albums, I mean, Blood Sugar Sex Magic and One Hot Minute are two awesome albums. Like, every single song is good, especially on Blood Sugar Sex Magic. But
and what does he say about it? Why is he saying that? It's pretty easy to say these old bands are shit now. But,
he says he says they started off with some funk, which they did, but then and then move into grunge, and then since Scar Tissue or whatever, it's just been the same exact sound for 20 years, which I kind of agree. Yeah. I wouldn't like them if it wasn't for Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
No, you wouldn't be talking about the Rolling Stones in the 2000s as well. You'd be talking about the Rolling Stones in 60s, 70s, maybe 80s.
Red Hot Chili Peppers are better than most of the bands on this list, I think.
Dave Matthews.
But I don't want to see Rolling Stones live. They're boring to me live. But, number 20, Dave Matthews Band. That's ridiculous. Dave Matthews Band kicks ass.
Come on, that's a Canadian favorite. You tell any Canadian that, they'll burn your house down.
Oh, like Gabriel Wardman did for 13 hours. This guy calls them bland and incredibly monotonous. I totally disagree. And this is such an old trope. You could walk into any Abercrombie and Fitch at any time and hear Dave Matthews playing. So what? They have some amazing songs. Big Eyed Fish, So Right. I think that Dave Matthews is a rock god. Plus, he's just a cool dude. He's just a really cool dude. So I think that's silly. Okay. I think that's silly.
Short acting career as well.
And what was he in there?
I'd have to check that, but I know he's been in something.
Yeah, he's so talented. Number 19, I completely agree with Radiohead.
Oh, wait a minute. You couldn't say that.
This guy calls him the top 5 band, one of his top 5 bands of all time, but he says just the incessant praise and perfection that they're always called geniuses gets annoying.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. He's a bit of a nutcase, really. And I wouldn't bother seeing them now, and especially when they got into that phase of radio. What was it called? OK Computer. No,
well, that was Kid A.
Kid A. After that, Kid A. Yeah.
No, everything after OK Computer sucks. Which I don't even know because I never actually heard it. But I'm just assuming.
Oh, they tried to get electronic, didn't they? But you got to leave that to the.
But
producers.
That's just one of those bands where like it's just one of those, like, wearing a Yankee hat and saying, like, I hate both sides, or, like, I don't watch the news. Like, it's just one of those, like, things that you say that just gets you a pass. Like, you can just be accepted by just saying, Radiohead's cool. You know,
like you were saying about PJ Harvey.
Yeah, it's such a safe thing to say.
Yeah.
This one, people who know me know, I think this is this is my least favorite band of all time. Queen.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Well, there's a good movie.
I'm never going to see it.
No? That's a great
movie.
No. It was a great movie. What's wrong with Queen?
Besides the fact that their music sucks?
They have some great songs. You couldn't
besides We Will Rock You, name one good Queen song.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, horrible.
Wonderful. Anyway, that's where we'll have to leave it. Cause,
Bicycle? That's a joke.
What's Bicycle?
Bicycle. Like, if someone played you that song, like, hey, check out my band, I play Bicycle, you'd never stop punching them in the face.
Yeah, but they're a bunch of queens. What do you expect?
But, there we go.
It started.
at 8:08. And then
That's right, I just looked at the time as well.
The other one, Fat Bottom Girls, so bad. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' well.
Hey, you seem to know a lot about it. What's going on?
How can you avoid it? You can't avoid Queen if you're a living breathing human being on this earth.
20 years ago.
Only
since the movie, right? The movie came along.
I don't. Well, yeah, you've got these young kids who think who are like Queen's rules, and I'm like, no,
suddenly
suck,
you're hearing
actually.
Queen at a nightclub. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Dude, if I hear Queen at a nightclub, I would be like, can someone please bomb this? Get the guy from the Bali bombing out, please.
It's not the thing to talk about in Bali.
No, I didn't say Bali. I said any club. Any club. Any club.
They could take your word for it.
Number 17, AC/DC.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah, they're cool. I don't have a problem.
That guy running around with the short in the school uniform, that's a bit ridiculous. Huh?
I think he's just like, they're a good band. Shoot the Thrill's a kick-ass song, but I think what he's saying is just like how popular they are. Number 16, a band that I just think sucks.
He's mentioned in every single band that's good.
No, every single band is not good.
I think
the guy sucks. He sucks.
Red Hot Chili Peppers and Dave Matthews Band are the only bands on this list.
All right, Coldplay
sucks.
Wait a minute. EsTeh, Coldplay.
Well, I'm not.
What's that?
Coldplay is on the list as the worst band ever.
No. Well, look, I have to say, as time went on, they've gotten a little bit
exactly
bubble gum, we'll say.
Dude, that song "Yellow" is just so bad.
That was their first.
Yellow too. It's like whining. Come on.
I mean, it's a bit, yeah.
If you like them, stick up for them.
They're just making money now. They're not writing the hits like they used to.
No, they had a life from the late 90s to early 2000s, really.
This guy calls him Chris Martin an annoyingly likable dude.
Sounds like Trudeau, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh God. I hope this last scandal. I hope this last scandal really does him in. I'm so sick of him and his beard.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 16, Coldplay. Number 15. Okay. Overrated. I completely disagree with this. Nirvana. Number 15.
I reckon they're shit. They play shit music. They had the good. Where they got their fame really was from that Unplugged album.
Yeah, but it was actually good.
That was great. Awesome.
Okay, so
but if you see them live or something, it's just a shit band. Very similar to what are they called?
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, it'll come to me. It's come to me. Rock bands, 60s, 70s.
The Eagles.
Led Zeppelin.
Sure
Led Zeppelin sucks.
Led Zeppelin live is probably the worst experience you're ever going to have in your life. But anyway.
What'd you say, Belvedere?
I said I think I saw them at the very first Lollapalooza in Seattle.
Sure.
Wow.
Very possible.
It was Mudhoney, Soundgarden, Nirvana. That was in I don't want to say the late 80s because it wasn't.
No, 93 maybe. 92.
I'm sure I was there.
Yeah.
I saw online a ticket stub from a concert. It was Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes. Alice in Chains.
How good is that? I haven't looked at this list.
Did I see you there?
No, I was 9.
Okay.
But
wait a minute. What were you doing there? How did you come to be in Seattle that day?
Well, I mean, I lived in Vancouver in those days,
and close.
It's a short skip to Seattle, just across the border, and we got tickets to this, amazing show of these grunge bands as grunge was just coming in, and they were all there.
Awesome, that's awesome. Was it a good show?
It was a long time ago, but
what you remember of it?
I think it was. I wasn't necessarily
sober
into the grunge thing. I think I was just coming off of Depeche Mode and Duran and all that type of stuff.
You weren't quite understanding it.
But anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a big show.
It all merges into one big
blur,
shady past.
No doubt. Put that on your tombstone. Belvedere.
It's not on my CV, trust me.
It just merges into one big blur.
Great icebreaker, that story.
So, yeah, anyway, go on.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I've got to agree with this.
And then in 1994...
I wore a diaper to a rave for the first time.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed out.
Incontinence, or was it?
Yeah.
Every time I dropped, I just fucking couldn't control myself. Anyway, go on.
So, by the way, I haven't really looked at this list, so everything's a surprise. It's new to me. Number 14, Bon Iver. I have no idea who this is.
Totally. He's
Bon
like...
Iver.
They're like the...
You wouldn't even go to a concert with that, would you?
No.
What is it?
It would send you to sleep.
What is that?
Yeah, you go to sleep. No one goes to a concert to see that. That's like a 2 a.m. coming down song.
You know how the indie folk
came
popular a few years ago? Bon Iver is like at the top of that.
Okay, so they're like ushering in like the hipster soundtrack for like the world.
It's like a wash of
like a Mumford and Sons?
I'm not sure.
Fuck them.
Whoa, 3 hits, maybe?
Okay, I don't know anything.
Too much banjo for me.
Oh, yeah, right. No, I hate it.
Yeah.
Here's one of your favorites.
Well, number 13, the Eagles. So they have the top 2 of the top 3 selling albums of all time, and they're 13 on the list. So of course they have to be on this list because they are one of the top selling artists of all time. So of course, like, unless it's a complete consensus, you would have to say they're overrated. But
yeah, they could never live up to the hype, right?
Right. 12. This band sucks. I don't know the difference between them and Foreigner. Journey. Don't Stop Believing. Please stop playing that song. I hate Journey. Foreigner and Journey. I don't know the difference.
You're right. You're right.
Right? I just know
someone
that.
Said it, I'd go, "Who's that?" You go, "I think it's Journey." They go, "No, sorry, it's Foreigner."
Right.
Oh, sorry.
But they should do that. It was like Conan O'Brien used to do the skit. Is the actor Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott? I love that one.
I should have just named the band Foreign Journey and just got
Foreign Journey. Is this the one with the Filipino lead singer? Or is that the other one? I don't know. Is this the one that had in the last scene of The Sopranos? No one knows. It's literally a mystery that no one knows. I agree with this one. Aerosmith, number 11. I mean, a decent band.
What? How many hits do they have? Really?
A lot.
No.
I don't think.
2.
See, the thing about Aerosmith that's interesting is that they had like the 70s and 80s, and they fell off hard. They're like just insane drug addicts. Then they came back with Get a Grip in like 94. Then they came out with 9 Lives in like 99, and that was huge. We're like Falling in Love and Heart of the Knees, Pink, all that stuff. Then, yeah.
I remember when MTV just was aired, Aerosmith was in with a couple of very shiny hits. Jody's Got a Gun. What else? I don't know, a couple more.
I mean, that Get a Grip album's pretty good. Eat the Rich, like, that's pretty cool. But I also think, like, people are like Mama Kin and Toys in the Attic. I'm like, I don't. I
just thought he was like a Rolling Stones wannabe, you know.
Kinda.
You know?
I saw.
Yeah, he could be a stunt double.
For sure. I saw there was a WBCN huge rock station in Boston in 2001. It was a major festival at the stadium the Patriots played at, and Aerosmith from Boston, and the headliner that night was Marilyn Manson. Aerosmith opened for Marilyn Manson. I was like, yes, that's right, all you chowderheads, go home because the real band's about to come on stage. And then I blacked out. Number 10, Metallica.
Pretty cool. They were pretty cool back in the day.
This guy calls them, they're not the most overrated rock group, but they're surely up there. Sure, they're musically above average, but not as untouchable as others make them seem. I think they were just the first ones to do it well, not cheesy. Like, they were like, hey, we're metal. Us and Megadeth, even Megadeth's super cheesy.
Well, it
was polished metal.
Yeah, it was like the evolution of hair flick rock, right? Whatever they call that.
But they were like better than like those 80s bands. Number 9, Green Day.
Yeah.
I mean, their first album was awesome, and then I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
They were filler.
They haven't really had a hit since early 90s, right?
No, remember American Idiot? I think that was 2005. That was pretty big. But like, remember that song? The time of your life, like.
Sounds like
every graduation, right? Like if someone's like, "Hey, it's graduation, play this," be like, "No,
please don't,
please." No. But that first album, Dookie,
don't sign my yearbook.
Don't sign my yearbook. Or if you're gonna write something bad, put it in the background.
Looks like he's now turned into some sort of nightclub act or something.
Yeah, it does not look like the original.
Singing over the top of the DJ.
But that first album, Dookie, was pretty awesome. That was the first album I ever bought, other than Marilyn Manson. Number 8, Bon Jovi. I agree. Bon Jovi has one good song.
Ooh,
one good song.
From Alyssa on that one. She'll be screaming.
Yeah, that's right. Similar to most of the other bands you've already mentioned. They've had a few hits, but they're not really that good.
Living on a Prayer.
Not go looking for them.
I've heard that song thousands of times. Every time it's on, I just want to leave. I just want to just go eat just disgusting fast food and just die of an aneurysm because it's so bad. Living on a Prayer. But I do like Always. That's a pretty good romantic song.
I've just had a death threat from Miss Doyle on the Bali. So we think we should wrap up.
Thank you for listening on the episode of Death. Death threats are allowed on this episode because it's the episode of Death.
Ms. Doyle, please be calm.
Bon Jovi. I mean, Bon Jovi's a cool guy. I like him. He told a story about he was trying to buy the Buffalo Bills NFL team, and Donald Trump was trying to buy it too, and Donald Trump just started spreading a bunch of rumors that Bon Jovi was going to move the team to Toronto, and Bon Jovi's just like, it's just not true. So he's a cool guy. I like him. He's been on Howard Stern forever, but not musically. I don't know. All right, we're getting to the end here. Number 7. This is ridiculous. I'm going to throw my computer across the room. Show's over. Good night. Number 7, Oasis. They should be one of the top best bands of all time. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're totally
they
overrated.
Just after grunge, and I think they erased grunge, and it all became nice after that for a while. For me.
Oasis is better than the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. They have better songs.
Well...
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
Thank you. Yeah, and their attitude is so awesome.
I remember driving back from...
they are a bunch of wankers.
1993. Champagne Supernova was playing, and my friends souped up VW Rabbit.
Nice.
And we were all going, this is a freaking amazing song. Well, and yep, this band is going to go far.
This might be the most covered song of local Indonesian guitar players in Indonesia. At every bar, right? You know, Do You Know What I Mean? And Supersonic and all those great songs. And the attitude was so cool. Like they were just awesome. Oasis is awesome. And Liam Gallagher's last 2 solo albums it's what John Lennon would have made if he was still alive. This band sucks. Genesis, number 6.
Yeah.
Are they in the air tonight? Or is that Phil Collins?
I don't think they should even be there. Because no one's ever thought of them since the 60s? When are they?
No, the 80s.
No.
Yes.
But I do think
you
can play In the Air Tonight in 10 years, and someone's going to know, most people will know what that is, because it came back in Hangover 1.
Yeah.
Tyson.
But that's Peter Gabriel.
He's in the band. He was in the band.
Like a bad rash.
I mean, that drum breakdown, it's just like,
of course. Come on,
I get angry.
I heard, yeah.
I literally get angry. Angrier than usual. All right, top 5 here. Here we go. U2, number 5. Most overrated bands. God. I think it's part of his attitude, right?
Bono.
Yeah, probably.
Overrated in the last 20 years. This list is like overrated in the last 20 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
By millennial, for sure.
Well, it's 2020. I mean, like...
You're right.
We realize it's 2020.
What are we, 60?
Yeah, I still think it's 1970. It was 30 years ago. They said they have 2 or 3 great albums, but nothing matches the hype, and their height was in the 80s, which I don't know about that. Pop Mart was pretty big.
They had some good hits in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, no, they have hits all the time, but these songs are not good. Number 4, Kiss.
Oh, God.
No, come on. I mean, you know, we're talking.
I guess how many hits did Kiss have?
They didn't have any.
You told me how many hits they have right now. I couldn't name 5. Okay.
No, I couldn't name 5. I could name 3.
I take it.
Yeah. What was their number 1 hit?
Rock and Roll All Night, Beth, and then I Was Made for Loving You, which is like a pretty cool song.
I just remember.
But that's it.
Thanks for that. Yeah, true.
This band, but I mean, they were cool because they looked cool. But Gene Simmons is like maybe the biggest prick alive on Earth, other than everybody in the Washington D.C. greater metro area.
What's he doing?
At least they could walk through the mall and no one would know who they are for a while.
Yeah. And then they're like, we need to take the makeup off. Cool. Number 3, The Doors, a band that I love, but I agree.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No,
I mean,
they're pretty cool.
Sweet Lord,
they're pretty cool, right?
Go ahead. What do you think?
I think they're very cool. They're the coolest band going in the late 60s.
Yeah.
They weren't around for that long.
No, he passed away in, 1970?
Yeah, 77.
1971, 25th of September, day after my birthday, by the way.
Wow. You killed him?
Possibly.
You thought you were him?
This is the end when, wait.
See, like that song... It's just not as good as you thought it was if you listen to it now. I don't know.
No, true.
But the movie was cool. Oliver Stone. Number 2, Motley Crue.
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. I love when he's on the plane and he's got the big beard and he's smoking cigarettes and Ray Manzarek turned around and said, "Hey man, why don't you just like get some sleep?" And he goes, "What's wrong with being a large mammal?" I like that. Number 2, Motley Crue. I mean, I agree. They're a good band, but they're certainly not amazing.
They just ripped off.
And number one, this is horseshit. Guns N' Roses. Number one most... Dude. First of all...
Actually, I'd agree with that because I saw a video of them when they came to Jakarta, and they were total shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I was at the concert and they were not
total shit. It was shit. Sorry.
Okay, so this guy writes... In terms of technical skill, Slash isn't the best guitarist either. Well, that's a pretty hard title to have, best guitar players of all time. They're not an awful band. Listen, they have tons of great songs. You can't touch them as far as talent at each position, at each instrument, at each position. And they had multiple, like, 10 million selling albums. And the one album that came out in 2008, Chinese Democracy, that was, like, being made for literally a decade, was almost actually matched the hype. So number one most overrated band of all time, Guns N' Roses.
I mean, what makes the best guitarist of all time?
Yeah, exactly.
What, Slash? I mean, what's the difference?
It's got to be a combination of technical ability and songwriting. I don't care. Iggy Malmsteen can play every solo ever. Steve Vai, Stevie Ray.
Eddie wrote a lot of those songs.
Right, but you got to write good songs. I had this argument with people all the time. Just because you're a great technical player, it doesn't mean that's the best solo. Is it actually catchy and melodic and good?
True. Agree.
Well, that depends on what you feel.
Well, it's completely objective.
Right or wrong. You know.
It's completely objective.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
All right.
So, I'd agree, though, that Guns N' Roses are the most overrated band ever.
Wow.
I'm with you, GH.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, especially in the last 20... Because we're obviously talking about the last 20 years, right?
I think 30, 40, because...
No, just all these bands, they sort of fell off over the last 20 years. But they're riding on their frame.
I song 3 of Guns N' Roses at Jakarta.
Which one?
Oh,
what?
Really?
I left after about 15 minutes in the Guns N' Roses.
Well, that's because you needed to get more beer.
Well, there was no beer stand then, but that's probably why.
Well, that was an issue. I heard a few people talk about that.
Yeah, never mind. I completely understand.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, we're going to go for a song right now. You're on No Rest. Tuesday night.
And then we're going to come back with some serious, tragic death. But before, I want to talk about what Trump said about Ghislaine Maxwell real quick.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a track from Kurt Vile. We're going to go to a track from Kurt Vile. It's called Lost My Head There. No rest. No rest. No rest. Yeah.
as you sound like you're falling asleep.
I can't really find the volume. Okay. No Rest, Tuesday night with Noah John.
Oh, do you want me to do like a live like bumper like we were saying before? I have one.
Yeah, go
okay, ready? Ready? You're listening to No Rest with Noah John on the Bali Beat Radio Network. Hey, at least we're not on Mondays. That's pretty good, right? Thank you.
Well, you know, Monday's normally my night. I don't really do anything.
I mean, people hate Mondays, so hey, at least we're not on Mondays. Get a couple T-shirts printed.
Yeah, it's at least we're not on.
Is Belvedere here? Because
he's not sure where he is.
This is his thing, man.
Hold on, I've got him.
So
wait a minute. We're going to pull him up here. Are you there?
Yep. You got me?
You got it.
So we like to do our Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein update, and they did unseal some Gizmax. They did unseal some testimony from a deposition that she had, that the victims had tried to. The victims tried to depose her, and they gave testimony, and we won't go through it all, but basically, it sounded like at least this one girl that Donald Trump was not somebody who he was there, but he wasn't having sex with girls. But they did implicate Alan Dershowitz, and he went off on Twitter, had an absolute meltdown. It was great. But what I want to talk about now is so Axios. They're like this news show on HBO. I don't understand these stupid names. It sounds like like an asthma medication. Axios.
Well, it sounds like the Australian CIA, which is called ASIO. But
oh yeah. So this journalist, this guy was Australian. I don't know his name. You would certainly recognize him. But he was interviewing Trump, and Trump had said when some reporter asked him about Ghislaine Maxwell, he said, quote, "I wish her well." And this guy was like, Mr. President, should you really be wishing well somebody who's been arrested for sex trafficking. Not convicted, but arrested. The guy's name is Jonathan Swan. I don't know if you know him, but I was impressed with his ability to...
We could listen to that.
Yeah.
Oh, we should please. Because we have to... It would be so much better. It's just... It was on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter, but it was just him asking Trump...
This one here, yeah. Okay.
You want to play it?
We could play it.
God, who retweeted it? There you go.
There it is.
Was that the one when he's talking about Ghislaine, or is that the one where he's talking about the corona deaths? No, that one.
No,
that one.
this is Ghislaine.
All over the country. Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
she has.
She was arrested, you idiot.
Friend or boyfriend
Epstein
was
Wait a
either
minute.
killed or committed
Pause
suicide
it.
in
Pause
jail.
it.
She's now in jail.
Listen to him talk to his dentures.
Well, what I mean is, and the point he brings up is that she hasn't been convicted.
No, excuse me. That's not what he said. What that guy said was she's been arrested, and he said, no, I don't know that. He doesn't even understand he's not even listening. So you can't just put words in his mouth. Yeah, so already off the bat, he's just making no sense.
Right.
All right, go. All right, or you can reset it and play it again from the beginning, and then we won't pause it. Because you got to listen to his explanation. It's the same thing as he always does.
But I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that.
Her friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
I don't know which one.
Either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish.
Listen,
everybody.
would you wish listen, I can't tell you how many times.
Well, good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that?
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed?
Maybe you could help with
and
that.
And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that.
Oh, right. Except every protester.
Big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail.
Thanks, we know that.
Suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Wow. That's the fourth time he said that. He just can never admit that he's wrong. Okay, so wait a second. I can't tell you how many times I have written letters to serial killers in jail saying, I hope you had a good breakfast. Like, what is he saying? Why would you...
Jeffrey Dahmer, have a great day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what is he saying? He's saying what he believes. And I think it's really refreshing that politicians actually say shit that they believe in.
Dude, is it... Wait, do we want people...
Not just the regurgitated fucking line they always come out with.
Do we want people speaking who... Basically, the entire thing that they believe is the first half of their brain is like, how can I completely screw over and take advantage of the next person that comes into my sight line? And the second half of my brain is just focused on, like, the menu at McDonald's. Like, do we really... Why would we want to hear someone who's stupid? So, anyway, he's wishing her well. You don't see a problem with that?
They're friends, right? They're friends at some point. Sorry. Go on.
Say it again.
I said there could have been a better choice of words from the President of the United States. Like, let's see what comes out of this.
But...
No, I don't know.
Yeah, right. He should not be personally involved in this.
But you have to understand that this is a guy... This is a guy who's always putting people, declaring them guilty without any sort of proof or evidence or anything. So he's always focused on this other thing over here, but with this one person, like literally like maybe the most hated and despised person alive on planet Earth, that's the person he decides to defend.
Why is she the most hated person on Earth?
Because people generally are against child sex trafficking. Generally. I mean...
that's proven.
I mean, other than murderers, I think.
Oh, that's proven. She's not in jail yet, so...
She is in jail!
Oh, okay. She
is in jail, and her boyfriend was convicted of child trafficking. So,
well, a 17 or an 18-year-old?
It's not like, hey, this is a witch hunt. It's like, hey, you don't arrest people based on no evidence. So, just the fact, like... You know what he should... And the reporter tried to give him an out. The reporter tried to say, so what you're saying is you hope that she's alive, so in other words, she can face real justice. And he's like, no. I meant what I said.
No, boy.
I mean, dude.
Anyway.
who cares if her boyfriend died? Like, I mean, I want to know how he died, but I don't care that he's dead. Anyone who cares that Jeffrey Epstein's dead, as far as like, I wish the guy would still be alive because like he deserves a life, is ridiculous.
Well, it depends if you believe it's a witch hunt or not.
It's not. I don't believe it is. Obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, for him to say that is hilarious, and he's just. I think he's trying to. I don't know who's trying to appeal to with that. I don't see the political benefit.
Well, of him saying as a comment in that thing that actually.
Well, Twitter's full of insane.
I think it's the immediate quote. They're saying, well, he's either warning her not to say anything, or that he's. What was the comment? Let's have a look.
I like when he said
an underlying meaning there, saying, "Please don't show my video."
I like when he said, "I don't wish anybody ill will." How about Barack Obama? Like, not that I'm like
anyone that has a video of me at Jeff's house.
Yeah,
Barack Obama. What's about it?
No, I'm saying like I'm not even going to defend Barack Obama all the time, but I mean Donald Trump despises him and calls him every name under the books. Like he doesn't wish him well. He doesn't wish half the American country well. But the one person he's going to finally, it's like, you know what, I'm a good person, is Ghislaine Maxwell. Anyway, I thought we should play that because I just thought, I mean, this is a guy whose main focus in life is to get a fish fillet every day. Have you seen the guy? He's enormous. He is absolutely enormous.
A fish fillet.
It's a sandwich at McDonald's. Like, he eats McDonald's. That's his diet.
Oh, right.
No, seriously. Look it up. He subsides on Adderall and McDonald's.
So he's the epitome of an American
lad? American Republican, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't had a fish fillet in years.
Yeah, because you're not gross.
Fish fillet.
Thank you, Noel.
That sounds very French or something.
Okay.
I do love a little nugget every now and then.
Yeah, we talked about that before you came here. All right, so let's go to our next death story, the episode death. Okay, so this is again. There's different names for this, but we're going to call this the 2020 Nova Scotia attacks. A man named Gabriel Wortman committed that worst mass shooting in Canadian history. He killed 22 people at 16 locations over a 13-hour period of the night of April 18th until 11:26 in the morning, April 19th. So in this area of Nova Scotia, you want to explain Nova Scotia?
Well, the area is Wentworth, Debert, Portapiqua.
That's his hometown. So, but talk about the province. It's a rural province.
Nova Scotia is big?
Yeah.
No.
Nova Scotia is the most eastern province of Canada.
Isn't New Brunswick? No. Canadian expert guy.
Well, it's coastal. I mean, right. Okay. It's mainly coastal, but yeah.
It's the farthest east except for one. So these attacks happened over like a 13-hour period. And the craziest thing about this is it's not getting the attention that it should, and the story is absolutely nuts. So this was a 13-hour crime spree, and one of the major problems with this is that, it's Canada, right? So they will send out a text message to everybody in the area on everyone's phone when, like, the wind blows or a tree gets knocked over on, like, Maple Avenue. But for some reason, they didn't send a message to anybody's phones, an SMS message, until the next morning. And the reason they didn't do that is this guy was literally driving up and down highway in Nova Scotia, north of the city of Halifax, burning people's houses, killing them, execution style, and then just hanging out at their houses for a while. And the reason that most likely this didn't happen because this guy was probably a criminal informant for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
He was
most likely.
Oh.
And so they basically what I think happened is they were like, "Oh shit, our CI got out of control. We didn't control him, and now he's out there doing crime." This guy was driving around in a police car, a fake police car. There's decals were printed by his neighbor, who was a drug dealer, who this guy was probably giving information to the police about. It was connected to the cartel as well. This guy was dealing drugs. This guy was beating his wife. Everyone knew about it. Not everyone, but people in the town knew. And he was never brought to justice because he was probably a CI. And he's driving around in a police uniform that he got from his uncle, who was a Mountie, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Do you want to explain what that is? Because it's not guys on horses anymore. It's basically their, like, intelligence service, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's sort of a little bit of a umbrella of the police.
Yeah, they're like a federal police agency, but they're also like
the Mounties.
Covert. Yeah, the idea of them riding horses is like antiquated at this point.
Yeah.
So they're not the usual. They're not the normal cop on the street then.
No. These guys are like running, drug investigations and things like that. But I think in some rural areas they might. It's kind of like a sheriff, maybe.
It's like federal police in Australia.
I'm kind of wondering if we can get filled in by Belvedere, but yeah, it's not a local police force.
It's been 30 years.
Right. So this is the deadliest rampage in Canadian history, and like I said, it went on for 13 hours, and I mean, this guy he was at a party, he came home, he argued with his wife, and then he started just driving around and shooting people and killing people.
What was he arguing with his wife about?
Because he's a maniac. Police arrived.
He's a misogynist, or is that what brought it on? He hates women.
Well, most likely
about Epstein and whether he's.
Yeah, he's probably having a discussion about the witch hunt.
So at 10:01 in the evening, he got home from a party. The Porta Peak residents called 911. When the RCMP officers arrived on the scene, they've discovered 13 victims who had been shot and killed both inside and outside of 8 homes on Orchard Beach Drive and Beach Road. So 3 of the houses were on fire. They still, at this point, did not send a message to the community saying, there is a killer on the loose, or there is some nihilistic maniac on the loose, stay inside. This did not happen. Now, they did send a message out on Twitter about something, about people maybe driving around a certain police car, but who the hell in that neighborhood is on Twitter? Like, Twitter's not the universe. So he's driving around, he's killing people. He spent the night in an area near DeBere, and he ditched some property and some guns, near somebody that he knew. In the morning, he's back at it again. He's driving north on Highway 4 at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he just goes on an absolute rampage. He's killing people. He's burning their houses down. He killed 2 police officers who he had just happened to come upon. And after 13 hours after the police began pursuing him at 11:26, he stopped to get gas, 57 miles south of basically where he started. And one RCMP officer who was there filling up his gas tank recognized him from whatever the.
But how many people had he killed at
23
this point? At that point,
23, and fatally shot him. 22 people. 22 people. So the problem with this is that this guy was probably a criminal informant, and couple days before. 19 days before he went on the rampage, he withdrew $475,000 in cash from a Brinks depot. Brinks is basically a company that companies use to move high volumes of money, banks, cash businesses. It's not a bank. It's basically a quasi-security apparatus that protects money.
They supply the banks with money.
Exactly. Like if an ATM in America or some country, you're going to have a Brinks guy emptying it out with an armed guy, and then bringing that to wherever it's going. So he took out $475,000 in one trip. You cannot do that at a regular bank. And basically what people are saying is that this proves that he was a CI, because he was getting money to do deals, to do buys, and then whoever he was setting up would get arrested. So clearly it's not, and it wasn't his money. You can't get that kind of money at one time, even if you have that kind of money.
Hello, Jan. I'd like to take out $475,000.
Oh, right this way, Mr. Crazy.
Would you like that in 10s or 5s?
And he didn't even end up spending the money. He was just driving around with like a duffel bag full of cash.
Wait a minute. Did he grab that money?
He took it out
that
completely
same day.
legally.
No,
19 days before.
19 days before. So what does that prove in regard to shooting like this?
It doesn't prove anything about the shooting. It proves that the reason that they didn't warn people, and proves that the reason that this guy had a terrible history of domestic violence and drug abuse, was that the RCMP, he was an asset, and they were looking the other way because they needed him on the street.
So his name pops up after he shot 15 people, and everyone looks the other way.
Well, The problem is, and he was arrested. His neighbor was arrested. He was probably involved with the drug trafficking by the La Familia Mexican cartel, and anybody else. His neighbor was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Anybody else, this guy would have gone down a long time ago. His friend is the one who printed the decals to be used on the fake police car.
Yeah.
And basically, what was going on was that. They were not going to do a public inquiry investigation. The RCMP basically said we're going to do an internal review, which is not the same thing as witnesses and public testimony and documents. And for the last couple of weeks, Canadian citizens, including most of the families of the victims, have been protesting to ask that this happen. And finally, just on July 29th, the RCMP and the public safety minister, a man named Bill Blair, announced a joint federal provincial public inquiry on Tuesday after weeks of growing public concern. So,
and they had a protest. It was a demonstration to make that happen.
Yes, because people were like, "What the hell is going on?" It doesn't make any sense that a guy is driving around for 13 hours committing arson and murder in a police car in a police uniform that the police obviously know is not one of theirs, and this is the type of community that sends out SMSs and messages when the lightning is happening. This guy had been on the police radar forever, and it's an absolute insane, crazy story, and we're hopefully going to get to the bottom of this. I think that clearly what was happening was that the RCMP did not want an investigation, because this investigation, if it's done right, which it probably won't be, it will probably bring down the RCMP. Just as far as how evil they are. A lot of you could call it domestic terrorism, what they do, the rights that they trample down, especially against indigenous people. But this guy, he was known. He had a dental business. He had been interacting with police. And I just am blown away that a guy went on a 13-hour absolute murder spree, the worst in Canadian history, and no one knew. If they had sent an SMS to people who are home watching TV and getting ready to go to bed that said, "There is a killer on the loose, stay in your house," they would have saved 15 lives, minimum. And
they didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything.
They didn't even try to stop him.
Finally, in the morning, they were looking for him, but they didn't find him.
Wow.
But what they're trying to do is they're trying to cover it up before it got out in public, right? And basically,
but you can't really cover up dead bodies.
No, but you can try to if the guy's dead, you can do whatever you want with the evidence, the investigation before it does become public. This is just, lone wolf, whatever. He killed 2 random motorists who had just stopped to help another guy who had car trouble. He killed people that he knew. He killed police officers, and then he got shot himself.
And what does the Prime Minister have to say about that?
Prime Minister, immediately on May 1st, in the wake of the attacks, followed through on a 2019 campaign promise and announced the immediate ban of 1,500 makes and models of military-grade assault-style weapons, including the type used in this attacks, which, whatever, I guess that's fine, but way more murders are committed with regular guns than assault rifles. So I understand assault rifles in a mass shooting, I get it, but it's a little too late, and it's not really going to do much, because guns are the ones that commit most of the murders, just regular handguns. And this guy's
no, but I can't see any reason to have an automatic rifle for any purpose, really.
No, I agree, but I just don't think it's that effective to ban them. It doesn't really do much, because people,
you're not hunting deer.
People who are getting these guns are not getting them legally anyway. So who cares? Yeah. You're keeping it out of the hands of the regular citizens. Which
is not a bad thing.
No, but again,
I know in the USA that they believe you gotta be able to protect yourself against this.
Well, it's a constitutional right.
Armed foe. But then everybody ends up being armed to the teeth.
Sure. And I'm not a gun guy, but what I'm saying is banning assault weapons legally is not going to do shit, because the people that are getting them illegally, and most of the gun violence is committed with just regular handguns anyway. So you're not even proving anything as far as actually bringing down the potential for everyday violence. So they've announced.
Wait a minute. Does Canada have the same laws?
No. He unilaterally stopped. He just made a decree, like an executive order, and they're just gone. In America, that would never happen. You would have to go through, and I'm not saying it's better. You would have to go through a legislative process, congressional process, things like this.
So before this,
they were allowed. Yeah.
Well, everything was allowed the same as the United States.
They were illegal until 2019, so I don't know the details of the background, but finally we do have an assurance of a public investigation, and we really need to follow this. But 13 hours of terror in a small town that could have completely been avoided, and the reason it was not avoided is because this guy was an asset of the RCMP. He had completely spiraled out of control. This guy should have been put away. I don't even know what kind of evidence he was providing for the drug bust or whoever he was putting in jail, but it certainly couldn't have been worth it to keep him on the street. But again, like, people talk about Canada like it's this amazing oasis of just tolerance and just greatness and everyone. I mean, it's not. They have a major culture of extreme right-wing stuff. I mean, they have 2 literal statues of literal Nazis. Like, not Nazi sympathizers, not grandchildren of Nazis, not somebody who was associate of a Nazi, like actual Nazis. The Ukrainian community, which is actually pretty tolerant now, came over after World War II, and basically Canada, America too, the whole world just took these Nazi scientists and just incorporated them into their governments and into their research, and just said, just don't do the whole Nazi thing, which is a pretty smart guy, or girl. So, I mean, Canada's got a deep history of very weird things like that, and this takes the cake.
Yeah, but
I mean, I gotta say,
anyway, go on.
Nova Scotia, there's no let-offs here, but I mean, Nova Scotia would never expect something like that to happen in Nova Scotia. It's like a Martin Bryant in Tasmania.
It's a quiet place.
Yeah.
It's like country kind of there.
Very rural.
Yeah, it's
agriculture.
It's a fishing province.
Yeah. So why did it happen there? This guy lives there.
We don't really have a motive. The motive seems to be that he was just a sociopath. He was violent. I mean, an RCMP officer, speaking off the record because he's not authorized to discuss the case, said that the RCMP's inaction on this complaint seems very odd. Quote, there's zero tolerance. If we get a domestic violence call, somebody's got to go if there's enough evidence. It's a simple 487, a search warrant, and we take those 2 people, or we take the people involved. So they were clearly just looking the other way for this guy. And intelligence services and police do this all the time. They have this wet dream that you're going to get the big fish if you just let these little kind of mid-level dudes just run around and kind of do their thing. They have basically immunity. I mean, the Boston bomber, the guy, the older one who died in the Boston Marathon, he committed a triple murder a year before the Boston bombing, and the FBI covered up because that guy was an FBI informant. So, and this is all provable. Like, this is not some crazy conspiracy shit. So, this guy should have been taken care of, and he wasn't. And now we have just an absolute reign of terror. And the Canadian government is $400,000 poor because this guy took the money. I don't know where the money is now, but I'm sure they have it. But just, I mean, no one's talking about this. Have you heard about this? Other than from me?
Only from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was driving around in a police car. Can we just take a minute? He's driving around in a police car in a police uniform, murdering people at will.
Very unassuming.
Very unassuming. I mean, if somebody had put like a donut at the end of a fishing rod and put it in front of the car, maybe something would have happened.
Why wouldn't it?
Police like donuts.
Are we going to another track, or are we going to go?
Sure.
I just got that, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll follow this story up. We'll see where the inquiry goes, and stuff like that.
All right, we're going to go with the track from Jenny Lewis, another US songstress. This is called "Head's Gonna Roll" from an album called "On the Line." Well, you have been listening to No Rest with Noah John.
What did she say in there? Heads are gonna roll? That's part of the death episode.
It has been the death episode. We've enjoyed the show. Have you enjoyed the show or not?
Yeah, I don't know. Did anyone out there die?
We got a bit heated at times.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is not heated.
No.
I'll show you heated.
Well, we've seen
I
heated.
Tell you.
We've seen heated. But
heat-seeking missiles.
Anyway, it's always good to join you, Mr. Noah, on the radio on Tuesday nights.
Do you have anything to look forward to this week?
Haven't really given it any thought. I'll tell you this. I'm missing the old lockdown times.
Why is that? That's ironic.
It seems such a pleasant way to live. You know, you don't have to really do anything.
See, that's my concern about this. This is why I don't like the term new normal, and I don't like this concept of that, like, this is going to be lasting forever, even if it technically is because, yeah, people are, complaining about lockdowns and stuff, but I hope after, an extended amount of period, people will kind of get used to, like, working from home or whatever. Like, we don't want that. We don't want tourism to not come back. We don't want to not be able to go out. We don't want to be supporting local small businesses. We want this to be over. So it is tempting to be like, hey, I can work at my job a little more casually and stuff, but it's a dangerous mindset to get in.
I think that it could be possible that's what's happening right now with this second wave. Is everyone's just going, man, I preferred it back on the first wave. Let's have the second wave. Yeah,
well, everybody gave up, really. I mean, everyone gave up.
Oh, it was a wonderful time. But, as long as the government's paying for everything, it's all good.
Well, I mean, you're Mr. Right Wing. Like, which one is it?
I'm definitely.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like it.
I'm paying myself and my community. It's all coming out of my bank account. There's nothing to do with the government. But I'm just being, facetious in saying, oh, it's wonderful if the government's paying it.
But I think a lot of people, because in America, the argument right now is, are we going to extend these $600 unemployment benefits? And people are like. And they're like, well, we can't pay them more not to work than it is to work. And that's not the issue. The issue is, why the hell does somebody have a job where they're making less than $600 a week? Like, no one should be making less than $600 a week in America. So if you want to talk about, they're earning more money staying home, well, yeah, technically that's true. But the problem isn't that. The problem is that certain wages are so damn low.
Well, I think everybody's got it very good, haven't they?
No.
Well, they have.
No one has it good. Who has it good?
Well, we have it pretty good.
Yeah, but we're only months from, like, financial devastation. I mean...
Well, live it up while you can.
Well, people get all these properties and these mortgages, and, like, the one thing that you had to worry about was lack of income and defaulting on your loan, and that's exactly what we have now. So I don't think I think a lot of people are realizing now, like... If it wasn't before that, I am 2 to 3, 4 months away from just losing it all. And that's why all these people are going crazy and fighting in stores and fighting over masks and believing in all these crazy conspiracy theories. Not the ones we're talking about. These are real. But because they have no idea how to cope.
Because you say it.
No, research and... Although I don't like to say anymore, like, facts, because that's silly.
Facts are bullshit. Yeah.
Facts are bullshit.
Well, they're manipulated. Anything can be manipulated.
But the concept of, like, if I just have the facts, that'll change anything is total bullshit, because number one, there's 30-40% of people out there that are not going to be persuaded by any fact, no matter what. If I sit a Trump voter down and I say this, and this, he's a con man, he had all these real estate deals that went belly up, and he's not a good businessman, and he cheats on his wife, and he's clearly
wait a minute.
Nepotism.
Wait a minute.
It wouldn't change their mind. It wouldn't change their mind. The facts don't matter in the post-truth world. They're not going to change their mind. And the second thing is, even if you show all these people facts and logic and research, that they don't even want to believe it anyway. So what's the point?
What is the point, Alistair?
Well, the sun rises, the sun sets in my life.
Well, I hear people saying, like, if we just got the facts out, and the answer is people don't care about the facts. They care about their beliefs.
There's only interpretations of.
No, there are facts. I mean, there's 8 planets in the solar system. That's a fact.
Until there's 9, But anyway,
I mean, there are facts. It's just that people don't care. It's not going to change their opinion.
Well, facts are not solid. Nothing's solid. That's the reality of the world. No, it is. It's an interpretation of what facts are in front of you at the time.
No, that is a semantics.
No, wait a minute. No, this is like 100 years ago. They'd say there was 7 planets. Okay,
bad example because Pluto's not
in the solar system.
The Lombok Strait is X amount of meters deep. Like, that's a fact.
Until it's deeper.
Yes, very deep.
Okay, but then if it changes because the sea levels rise, that's a new fact.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Facts are real.
Facts are not solid. The facts sort of change. They evolve like everything.
Yeah, but it's still a fact whether the population goes up or down. Right.
For a moment, yeah, not forever.
But like
laws and misinformation.
Yeah, well, fake news. That's the point about fake news, because you can make up any story you wanted, and it's the truth for a little while, for half an hour. That's all it takes.
Exactly,
sometimes.
half an hour. Well, we'll see who Trump wishes well wishes to next week. I mean, maybe to
no rush.
Charles Manson. I mean, he's dead, but why stop at a sex trafficker? Why stop there?
If they're proven to be, yes.
I hope next
week. If it's a witch hunt of 17 or 18-year-old girls that have been 3 years being paid very well, travelling around the whole world, in the employment, and then they come back 5 years later with hotshot lawyers and sue them, well, maybe you'd have to think about that.
Except for the fact that he was convicted. I mean...
Yeah, but... facts. There we go, facts. Anyway.
Let's change the show name to No Facts.
Only realities. Anyway,
this whole thing is just a simulation anyway.
We're going out. That's it. All right. Thank you for joining the show.
What's your last song here?
We're going out with some electronic. We're going with some electronic.
Dave Matthews, man.
No, actually, we're just going to play some electronic and keep on playing all night long, because that's what we do here on the Beat Radio Bali.
I can't wait.
We have the best electronic music in the land, and tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can actually also listen to some very good classic Baroque music, which moves into jazz.
What time?
Oh, I've been listening to that. They're very good, actually.
Yes, you are one of our favourite
you're the man.
listeners.
You're the man.
I'm one of your best listeners.
That's right. You're the man. Absolutely. Send me a message in the morning if you're enjoying the music.
When you're getting in.
From your heavy night out in Jakarta. I know how life is in Jakarta. It's just 24/7. This city never sleeps.
The New York.
Anyway, thanks for joining the show.
Later.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.